Most people arrive from the wreckage of something that was supposed to work. The path to enlightenment often begins with a crisis, the grind that stops making sense, the loss that doesn't heal as expected. This week, we explore the paradox of wanting nothing and getting everything. The paradox of non-attachment lies in the mind's resistance to the idea that wanting nothing can lead to everything. This resistance stems from the ego's fear of losing control. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advises Arjuna to act without attachment to the fruits of action. Today's framing agrees, emphasizing the importance of detachment, but often misses the subtlety of how to do it without falling into the trap of inaction. The human mind resists this because it challenges the very notion of striving and achievement. The ego cannot hold both the desire for control and the surrender to the flow of life simultaneously. This tension is the core of the paradox. In a moment of non-attachment, a person might stop wanting a cheesecake, and suddenly the cheesecake appears. This is not a magical occurrence, but a reflection of how desires and their absence can influence our reality. The moment of non-attachment is not about denying desires, but about recognizing their impermanence. In this scenario, the person's shift from wanting to not wanting the cheesecake mirrors a deeper shift in their relationship with desires. This moment is a microcosm of the larger shift towards enlightenment. The paradox is that by not wanting, one can attract what they need, but this requires a deep understanding of the nature of desire and its role in our lives. The shadow side of non-attachment is the subtle trap where the ego adopts the guise of detachment as a new identity. This can manifest as a false sense of superiority or a belief in one's own enlightenment. The person may use non-attachment as a shield to avoid engaging with the world, leading to a form of spiritual bypassing. This inversion occurs when the practice of non-attachment becomes a means to avoid dealing with one's own fears and insecurities. The ego can dress itself in the language of non-attachment, creating a false sense of peace and detachment. This shadow side is a reminder that true non-attachment is not about avoiding the world, but about engaging with it without attachment to outcomes. Current neuroscience offers insights into the brain processes underlying non-attachment. Research by Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin-Madison has shown that meditation practices can alter the brain's default mode network, reducing the activity associated with self-referential thinking. This shift can lead to a state of non-attachment, where the mind is less preoccupied with desires and fears. However, the science also reveals that this state is not a permanent one and requires consistent practice. The brain's plasticity allows for changes, but it also means that old patterns can resurface if not continually addressed. This scientific perspective aligns with the teachings of non-attachment, emphasizing the need for ongoing practice and awareness. In Zen Buddhism, the concept of non-attachment is deeply rooted in the teachings of the Buddha. The Dhammapada, a collection of the Buddha's teachings, emphasizes the importance of letting go of desires to achieve peace and enlightenment. The Zen practice of Zazen, or seated meditation, is a method to cultivate non-attachment by focusing on the present moment. This practice helps practitioners recognize the impermanence of desires and the futility of clinging to them. Today's framing of non-attachment agrees with this tradition, but often lacks the depth and rigor of Zen practice. The modern interpretation tends to oversimplify the process, missing the nuanced understanding that comes from dedicated practice. How do we navigate the paradox of wanting nothing and getting everything without falling into the trap of inaction or spiritual bypassing?